Hey, I'm Sakali. I streamed a whole bunch of demo streams to Next Fest, and today we're going to be talking about everything I rated 1 star. First up, we have Sea Blip. It starts you off with a naval battle, which, aside from just having not really any much purpose later on, it also just was real bland to play. I didn't enjoy it. It was a lot of waiting around for cannons to go off. Crafting part of it, I enjoyed the little bits that you could do here on this little island, but then as soon as a little cutscene happens, you think that this is going to be where you do some like actual proper survival and get off the island, but then you just teleport to a main island somewhere else. So I don't understand what the point of being here was at all. And then on the main island, I got lost on my first objective, so I didn't really get very far. But I want to see more of that actual crafting, so that's why I've given it a 1 and not a 0. It was close. Next up is Backpack Battles. I thought I had video for this, and I didn't, probably because it was a little bit glitchy with my stream. A friend and viewer of mine actually recommended this one. I just couldn't get into it. I think I'm just a little bit biased towards not really liking a lot of auto battlers like this one. I like the concept of it though, compared to other auto battlers, where this one is you're just kind of using whatever tools you have in your equipment bag, and you can get little slots with expansions for them, depending on whatever you find at the shop in between battles. However, I just wasn't gelling with it, so I'm just gonna leave it at that 1 star. Next up we have Captain Possum, and first thing I want to say is look how gorgeous this little menu screen and the loading screen here is. I just want a game that is all that art style, so beautiful. However, this game is decidedly not that. I found the movement and a lot of the controls for this game were really unpleasant. I got frequently lost trying to find places, especially your own shop on your own ship. You would think would be easy to find, but I walked back in and out of that building so many times. I feel like literally half of this game's problems could be solved for me if it was a point and click one and not a moving one. So instead of having to like explore an adventure, you could just hover with your mouse. It would be so much better for everything. Next up is Ailuri. The animations are absolutely beautiful. I really loved how hand-drawn it is and just gorgeous. The setting is a little bit unexpected in some places, but my main issue is that the controls feel very early. Like you have to be exact on your jumping and really careful, like very, very early games. Like they're falling down. That feels like that should be a lot more forgiving with a grab. And it should not take me that long to get out of that little tiny divot there, you know? So a bit more refined on that control scheme and there's more speed in the action and the movement and combat. Next up is Ned Iron Outlaw. Now, as a classic Aussie, I really wanted to just be in love with this game for that true blue, authentic Australianness. However, it's a little bit janky, and I think I will probably rather yeet myself out a window than deal with the insta-deaths that are far too common. I really liked all the different like tidbits they threw in, all the kind of Australian cultural touchstones. I can't talk. Even if some narratives were tweaked a little bit for the storyline that they're going for. And where Ailuri lacked in their fast-paced gameplay, this one really hits it a lot more on the head. However, those insta-deaths are such a pain. And in general, all the action feels a little bit very flash-based gaming era, and it's not very fine-tuned. You're just kind of button mashing a little bit. Next up is P.E.K.K.A. It's a very kind of classic 3D platformer adventure. One of my main complaints is that the area is a bit too sprawling for the action that you can do within the game. However, it did surprise me with a whole lot of different things that they had prepared, and also just even things that I hadn't thought of being an issue that they had already thought of. Like at one point I got stuck in some scenery and they already had a mechanism that would just be like, oh, it recognized that you're stuck instantly and just went, here you go, spawn back, done, continue on. So I really appreciated that. So it's well executed in its kind of overall design, but it's just really simplified and not a whole lot going for it at this stage. Next is Kobu the Tree Spirit. It's got a lot of the right ideas in terms of its action, where a lot of the combat can be good. It's got a lot of different varied enemies, but some parts are a little bit finicky still. Like the critical hit mechanics and the blocking mechanics are really hard to perfect. I still don't know to this day whether it was me hitting with my mouse the critical hit spot or me hitting that area with my blade that was getting the critical hits. This one's on the right track with a lot of enemies that feel fun and different and engaging. This still really needs tweaking. A lot of the weapons and abilities felt quite useless and I didn't understand at all their purpose. Like for instance, that wolf form that you can get and that little automatic attacking orb didn't feel nice either. But my main issue is with the progression, because as you're just in the one room dealing with waves of enemies for a lot of the time, it doesn't feel rewarding to be going through to another area and advancing. And then when the waves are over and it is time for you to advance to the next room, you sometimes don't realize for a few seconds because there's no indication. So enemies are good, the rest needs a little bit of work. That was everything I rated 1 star during Sim Next Fest. You can check out the videos of that gameplay over on YouTube or catch me live on Twitch. Till then, I'll see you next time.